What's going on, my soul family? Welcome back to another episode of the Awake with Jake show. On today's episode, I'm going to be dropping in and sharing 5 signs that you are awakening. Yes, right now we are going through it. We are in the thick of it. We are in a collective dark night of the soul. All of the stuff that has been going on in the non-physical realms for eons is now manifesting in our physical realm. It has vibrated down into the material form, and what you're seeing happen on Mother Earth right now has been going on spiritually for eons. So all of the corruption within government, within the elite leaders and the organizations, all of this stuff has been going on for a very long time, but it's now being exposed at such rapid speeds that people are waking up all around the globe. It's almost like light bulbs are just popping up everywhere all around the globe. So 5 signs that you are awakening. Before I get into that, I want to share with you that I currently have a $40 sale off my online course for healing your masculine and feminine energies. If you are looking to heal, harmonize, and embody both your inner masculine and feminine, then go to jakewoodard.com/course and use code JULY40 at checkout, 40 at checkout. Now, masculine and feminine energies has really changed my life, and it's still something that I use every single day as a practice. Because when you understand masculine and feminine energies, your own masculine and feminine energies, it is a total game changer. This course includes video training modules, guided meditations, and worksheets. Plus, you have lifetime access to the course and any new material that's uploaded as well. And it comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee if you're not totally satisfied with your purchase. So once again, go to jakewoodard.com/course to enroll and use code JULY40 at checkout. So let's dig right into this. By the way, I hope that you are having a fantastic day filled with love and light. And if you're going through it right now, keep going through it. You know, I've been through it before, and I could tell you, sometimes it feels like there's no light at the end of that tunnel, but it gets better. And I just felt really called to share that message because I know there's so many people right now that are waking up. And when you start to wake up spiritually, it's almost like you go through this great purge, like this energetic purge of all of the false belief systems that you are not. You start releasing all of the old programming, all of the things that have been imprinted on you since the time you were in your mother's womb. So the first thing that I have here is you feel like almost everything you have been conditioned to believe is a lie. You feel like everything that you've been conditioned to believe is a total lie. All of the stuff that you saw in the movies growing up and the celebrities that you've worshipped, all of the news and the media and the programming that has been stuffed into you to be fearful is a lie because it's not your truth. And you start to see this and you really start to think and feel for yourself. Now, if you really want to get free of suffering, of pain in this reality, you really have to learn how to think and feel for yourself. Because the more that you look out there for answers in the media, in the world, in the physical world, you're oftentimes going to feel very unsettled. It's a very unsettling feeling because the external world can never provide you with your truth. The external world can never provide you with your truth. So as you start to wake up, you start to question all of the things that you've been conditioned to believe. Go to school, go to college, get a good job, retire at 60, pay your taxes on time. Like everything you're living is inside of this matrix, and the matrix is designed to keep you unconscious. I lived in the matrix for most of my life until I started waking up and I really started thinking, what the hell is going on here? I don't know if you've ever had this experience before, but you almost feel like you're the sober person at a party full of drunk people. That's the analogy I really can give with this is you feel like you've awakened to the point where your soul starts to awaken. You go beyond the ego, beyond the veils of the ego, and you start to come into your soul essence. You come into the God essence within you, the extension of God energy. You start feeling very connected to things at a deeper level. The second thing that I have is you are starting to honor your truth instead of blindly believing everyone else. The word that's coming through right now is discernment. Discernment means the ability to judge well. Now, this is something I learned a long time ago. If something does not feel right to you vibrationally, stop giving energy to it. Stop giving your energy to it because you're clogging up your energetic field. For example, if you're going to a job right now that you absolutely hate, you are pouring that hateful energy out into the universe, and the universe will continue to mirror back to you hateful energy and things that are of a low frequency because you're out of alignment with your inner source. If you're in a relationship right now and you are not feeling aligned with that person and you're like, I can't stand being with this person, but I don't know what I would do without them financially, then you're in what I like to call a root chakra relationship, and you're only together based on your need for survival and safety and security. But is that your truth? Is that your divine truth? Are the reasons why you're in a relationship or at a job or living in a location you're at, are they because of you're in pure source alignment, or are you just operating based on the matrix conditioning? Are you operating based on the matrix programming? And I'm asking you right now, are you operating based on the matrix programming? Because if you are, what we get to do is to start to transition out of that. Start to delete those false belief programs and really start to transcend the matrix, the third dimension of consciousness, which is a very heavy dimension. It's a very heavy plane of existence. And that's why everything here is in material form, because a lot of it's of a lower frequency. And these corrupt organizations and elite people will use these mind control tactics to keep you unconscious, to keep feeding this giant machine that keeps you plugged in to believing their lies. But as you awaken, you unplug yourself from the matrix and you stop being that drunk person at the party and you become the observer of the party. And you're like, wow, this party's pretty interesting. And then you can be here in this human form, in this human experience, and really start to enjoy life. When you awaken, it's like someone turns the damn lights on. Smells get better smelling. You can smell a peach for the first time in your life. You can see the vibrancy of the clouds or the trees and the plants and the animals and the earth, and even deeper connections with other people. You start to feel things at such a deeper level. And in the way in which you do this, here's a quick little side note, little kind of ninja tip here. The way in which you do this is you go in, okay? You go in. You do the shadow work around the things that do not serve your energetic vibration. You release the things that are of a false nature, that don't feel natural to your being, okay? So for example, if you're still holding on to hatred toward your father, like I did for most of my life, let that go. If you're still holding on to hatred towards your mother or a past lover, let that stuff go. Forgive them, release them, do it energetically, do it internally. And the more you peel back the layers of the pain and the suffering, the more you can see your true soul essence. And by the way, your soul essence is so pure and so beautiful. And you incarnated into this form to awaken to a point where you're free so you can help others get free. Because the more free you are, the more you can help others to become free as well. And right now, we are at a pivotal point in time where we're experiencing a mass awakening. And the fact that you're listening to this podcast right now is a great sign that you are on a path of serious awakening. The third thing that I have is you feel a strong call to break free from normal, and I throw this one in air quotes, society, what I call the matrix. Think about all of the conditioning that you have had since the time you could last remember, like the earliest thing you could remember. You probably heard something like, you need to have a really good college degree in order to be successful in this life. You need to go to a great college. You need to live in this location. You need to have this many kids. You need to get married by this age. Your whole life is planned out for you before you can even make conscious decisions as a human being. The first 18 to 25 years of your life is just kind of like a blur, and you're not really fully conscious, most people at least. And those are kind of the years of your life that you're kind of stumbling through life. It's almost like the crawling stage, like a baby goes through. Like you're starting to awaken a little bit. But then one day you sit there and you're like, what the hell is this human experience all about? Why am I here? Who am I beyond what I've been told to be? and who I've been told to be. Who are you? Because when you don't know who you are, it is so easy for the matrix to tell you who to be. Your parents did the best that they could. Your teachers did the best that they could. But remember, a lot of people are really in the thick of the matrix. So they're only going to be able to give to you what they have themselves. And if they have a lot of conditioning and programming of the matrix, then guess what? They're going to feed that into you. And if you're not awake, you'll believe it. You won't challenge and question things. You'll just kind of float through life and believe everyone else blindly. I think one of the greatest things that I've learned to do is stop believing things blindly. And I don't know if you had any experiences like this back in high school, but if something happened, the drama of high school, like the teenage locker room, if something would happen, you hear one thing from somebody and then you hear another thing from another person. And then a whole different story from by the time it got to the third person, it was like a totally different story. So that's kind of how the narrative of the Matrix works. It works like smoking mirrors to keep you veiled from seeing your true essence. Because if you were awake, if you are conscious and you know who you are, you cannot be told who to be by anyone. Not a boss, not a lover, not a friend, not a family member. You stop believing the lies. They are lies. They're not your truth. Okay? So in this life, I invite you to discover that truth of your essence, of who you really are. That has been one of the biggest game changers for me, is to discover who I am, why I'm here, what I stand for. And you hear me talk a lot about this because I think it's so important. The fourth thing that I have is you're noticing self-destructive patterns and healing them through shadow work. Now, some people aren't familiar with shadow work. So a brief understanding of shadow work is basically exploring the wounded aspects of yourself that you have repressed. Okay. So maybe you went through some type of sexual trauma that you haven't healed and there's still a lot of pain around that. Or maybe you dealt with some type of childhood abuse or abuse in a previous relationship or a marriage. That's shadow work. When you go into that pain, when you sit with that pain, you allow yourself to bring it up, whether by yourself or in a safe environment with other people, in a circle, at a retreat, through meditation. There's different ways to bring up this pain. But working with a healer is another way. There's a lot of different ways to bring up this pain. And through the awareness, you can pull up the pain and release it through the crying, through the purging process, through the cleansing process. Because you activate this sacred healing through doing this shadow work. And the more the shadow work that you do when you peel back the layers of unconsciousness and suffering and shame and guilt and false belief systems of who you think you are and the reason why you're so guarded and so protected, you can start to see yourself more clearly. And the more you see yourself clearly, the more you unplug from this matrix. And you keep hearing me refer to the matrix a lot because I believe that the matrix is a real thing because I lived in it. And if I didn't live in it, then I wouldn't believe it's a real thing. And if I didn't live in it, I wouldn't know how to get out of it. And if I didn't know how to get out of it, I couldn't help other people get out of it. Wow. I'm just talking really fast at this point. So it's interesting to watch the movie The Matrix from a more awakened standpoint because you really see that movie is actually more like a documentary of what's going on in the third dimension of consciousness right now. So the truth is being exposed. The truth is being exposed at a mass level. All of this stuff is coming up and you are seeing a mass awakening, the biggest awakening of human history. Okay. And the fifth thing that I have is you feel a sacred connection with Mother Earth, God, and the universe. Now, this is something that may take you some time to develop. I know it took me a long time to develop these relationships, but I'm telling you, the more that you open up your crown chakra and the higher chakras, the third eye, the throat, the heart, when you open up the higher chakras through the healing of the lower chakras, because that's how we get into the higher chakras, healing the root, healing the sacral, healing the solar plexus, then you can start to transcend into the heart, the throat, the third eye, the crown. When you do that, you begin to allow the divine energy to pour through you. That God energy, that divine energy. And you'll also notice that the universe starts providing for you as if you were her child. Because you realize that, hey, I'm born out of the cosmic womb. I'm born out of the Mother Earth. I'm born from a physical mother. So you start having a lot more respect for the divine feminine nature, because we all have divine feminine energy within us as well as divine masculine energy. So the more you start to peel back those layers of stuff, and believe me, it's a lot of stuff, a lot of gunk that has kind of corroded your spiritual pipeline from connecting to God, or whatever you want to call it, source. You can call it Sally, whatever you want to relate to God as. But that higher power, that creation energy of the mother and the father energy combining together as one energy, one source energy. We are all one energy coming down into you through the heart, connecting to earth. So the more you pull back all that stuff and you go under the hood and do the inner work, to do the healing, to see your true essence, you start to remember, and you have a soul recognition of why you incarnated into this human form. And you may even have some type of dream states that bring you into past life. So you may start getting messages in dreams. Dreams are very powerful as well. And you start getting all these downloads, these intuitive downloads. Maybe you know to slow down before a certain turn because you know intuitively there might be a cop up there giving out speeding tickets or something. I'm telling you, the more you awaken, the more fun this human experience becomes, but you have to go through the mud. You have to go through the trenches. There's no short, quick fix to healing. And I'm going to be really honest with you. It has taken me many years to get where I am right now. I have peeled back so many layers, surrendered so many times to even feel like I'm truly plugged into that universal grid of consciousness. But I sit before you and tell you these things because I want to plant seeds within you to sprout at some point, to sprout into your awakening. Because this whole universe is like a giant garden. And the more seeds that we plant, the more that people can really begin to awaken to their true essence. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. Once again, if you want to grab this $40 deal and save $40 on my online course, go to jakewoodard.com/course and enter code JULY40 at checkout. And I can assure you that this course will be a great investment for your healing. Once again, thank you for being here. I love you and I appreciate you. As always, stay open, stay loving, and stay connected to that beautiful source within you.